Hello everybody and welcome to another Firefly Studios video. We're back again with another episode of Stronghold Chill, this week featuring programmer Matt Smith. How you
Hello.
doing, Matt?
Yeah, I'm good.
You all good? Are you ready to play some Stronghold?
Yes, maybe.
Um,
Playing might be a very strong term.
oh, yeah.
But
Well, you'll be watching, I'll be playing.
Okay, that's fine then, that's fine.
Most important thing is we'll be talking.
Yes, alright. As long as my skills aren't being put to the test, because you might be left wanting.
So, Matt here has worked on Stronghold Kingdoms, Stronghold Crusader 2, and most importantly, Stronghold Next, which we will be revealing next month. But for now, we're going to be playing some Stronghold HD, going to the original Castle Sim, Matt.
Yeah, where it all began.
Where it all began, exactly. So I've got Edinburgh Castle, a siege lined up. So, without further ado, let's jump into Edinburgh Castle.
Is it a Jew or is it a do?
Oh no, did I say?
I don't know, you went a little continental.
Without further ado, let us jump into Edinburgh Castle. We've got Edinburgh Castle here. We're defending. I've put it on hard. It may be a mistake, but we'll just go ahead and do it. So while I begin micromanaging my defense and firing flame arrows at pitch and all that kind of jazz, could you tell us exactly what your job here at Firefly Studios is?
Right, yeah. So my job here is ostensibly programming in various forms. Mostly the sort of the game side of things, the client side, as they say.
All these like castle walls, the units, the siege equipment. What would a programmer be involved with in getting this stuff on the screen and in a game?
So as a programmer, you'd have to, it's things like tracking the positions of everything. I mean, when this game was released, sort of you had to carve everything out by hand, as it were. Yeah. So you're responsible for everything from loading in all of the artwork when the level starts.
Okay.
Putting everything in the right position, displaying it on screen. So, each of those sections of wall, it's got to be, put there and popped on screen. And then, tracking where each of the people are, where those arrows are going, making giving the arrows that sort of
Arrow trail.
yes, the parabolic arc.
Parabolic is that the technical term, is it?
Yeah.
There you go, you learned something already.
Maths.
So what would a typical day for a game programmer be?
Roll in, get a coffee.
Of course. That seems to be the through line with many of them.
Yeah.
Every department here at Firefly is get the caffeine in, then do your stuff.
Yes. I mean, one thing you find sort of working as a programmer is it's fun with the problem solving. But the flip side to that is if you haven't solved the problem, you can spend sort of the entire day working on something.
Okay.
If you haven't solved it, you've kind of, on paper, not really accomplished anything. Hopefully you're that little bit closer to finding the solution.
Yeah.
But then, the flip side to that is you solve it and then you get a load of stuff done, you get a load of work done off the back of that, and then on to the next thing. So it's sort of a cycle of peaks and troughs.
Cycle of pigs and troughs.
Peaks.
Oh,
Peaks and troughs.
Never mind. Anyway, so I've completely lost my trail of thought there. No,
Peaks and troughs at farmyards.
Farmyards. So, how did you get into a game programming job at Firefly? So, what was your route in, and what would you say to a younger you trying to get where you are today?
I mean, I've got a lot of advice for younger Matt. I don't think.
But in terms of career,
that's a separate, that's a separate video. I took a slightly sort of wonky route to this. I did, when I left school, I did computer science.
Okay.
Did that for 3 years, passed. Then I went into like sort of customer service, customer support for a few years. Then I moved over, similar job, but more in a kind of gaming console-based area.
You're inching closer to.
Yeah.
So did you want to be were you wanting to be a game developer at that time?
Well, that is one thing I will say about computer science degrees and such. And if you want to go and learn to be a programmer, there's quite a big range of stuff you can go for. There is a more sort of generic computer science type subject, or you'll have very specific ones like learn to program with this engine, or
Okay. So if you wanted to get into a specific like studio or work on a specific brand of games, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, so the kind of thing I did. The pro to it, the upside to it, is that I had quite a wide base of topics that I knew, something about.
Okay.
But the flip side is that I wouldn't say I was necessarily straight out of the gate employable in any one of those things from a sort of programming perspective.
So you're more of a generalist.
Yes, I mean that was on me. Plenty of my peers, went off and got jobs and stuff, but for me. That was the case. But then, after doing the sort of customer support stuff for however long, I decided that, I wanted to go and make something.
Yes, into the creative field.
Yes, start crafting. I don't know what that was supposed to be.
I enjoyed it.
I'll keep my hands together like this. I went off to uni again.
Okay, round 2, huh?
Round 2, and did like a 1-year postgraduate thing, and that was games programming.
Okay.
So that was very focused.
Would you recommend just going straight into that sort of doing a master's or a higher thing? Or do you think you could get away with?
Yeah, I mean, this course in particular was quite good because it was quite intensive, and it's just, here are the things you need to learn.
Yeah.
To be, to get a
This was the later one.
This was the later one.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was intense. It was like a year of just living and breathing games programming, but it was really good. But I think there isn't really a one-size-fits-all answer to it. So I just realised I'm not really following what you're...
Neither am I. I think I'm about to lose, if that's any update on you. I've just been so hooked on your journey there. All my peasants are just dead.
Yeah, but it's all right. Your swordsmen are going in though. Taking names.
Taking names. I mean, we have got. I think a mace man just did run up here.
Nice.
Maybe. I don't know. Well.
Oh, those swordsmen are clearing up.
Yeah, swordsmen are a bit. They're pretty strong on here. So unfortunately, they conquered the Edinburgh Castle map. Didn't do a great job. I was too engrossed in your story of how you became a prime video game programmer at Firefly Studios. It was just
don't you patronise me.
I'm taking on a journey. I'm being sincere. This is my sincere voice. But luckily, the king has given me another. I escaped the castle, and the king's given me another job protecting another castle. So we're going to jump into that real quick.
That's a nice narrative you've got.
Man. I'm all about the story. So we're going to Leeds. That seems good.
Yeah.
I've escaped down to Leeds. Just hitting all the UK hotspots right now.
Yeah.
So while I, again, try and defend Leeds Castle where I failed at Edinburgh, could you give us your happiest memory at Firefly?
Every day's a joy. Every day is a new happiest memory. I mean, there was the year that I had to talk our way into a nightclub with 17 dudes dressed in Christmas jumpers. It's not. It's not easy. It's a lot harder than programming.
How did you charm the bouncers?
I think I pointed out we're coming and we'd quite like to spend some money at their establishment, and suddenly they were a bit more amenable to the idea. But professionally, the launch of Crusader 2 was pretty cool. That was my first sort of proper specific release.
So earned your credit, shall we say?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
I was still a little sort of green behind the gills.
So getting your name on those Crusader 2 credits and seeing your work come to fruition. That was your
Yeah.
high point.
Yeah.
Now, I felt a bit bad when I asked this question, but to counteract that, what about your worst? What was the most stressed Matt's been at?
Probably the launch of Crusader 2.
I was going to say it sounds like a big struggle with a big release, so I could imagine both the high points and the low points.
Yeah, it's one and the same pretty much.
Yeah.
Quite the emotional roller coaster.
That said, with Crusader 2 being your first PC full Stronghold title, would you say it's your favourite Firefly title, or is there any that take the cake?
I've always quite enjoyed Space Colony, which was another thing I worked on.
Oh, should have seen that one coming.
See, I'm doing your work for you now, and it all ties together.
What any particular reason for Space Colony, or?
I quite liked the whole sort of base building meets Sims approach to it.
It was a bit more for lack of a better term, silly, I guess, as well.
Yes.
Did you like that aspect of it?
Yeah.
So obviously there's a bunch of humour in the Stronghold games, but that game really does go, it goes far out there.
Yes. With the fribbies.
I have no idea what the fribbies are.
Oh, we've got a bunch of art assets back on the server.
I have looked into the Space Colony drive one or two times, and it's an experience.
There's some fribbies in there.
Yeah, there's some. I'll have to look those up when I get back upstairs. Okay, so
Man, your castle is... Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going well. Oh, I didn't realise I had this bit back here.
Yeah.
No, hopefully my defences can stand while we finish this interview, but I'm not sure they will. But we'll move swiftly on while my, castle is under siege quite drastically. And we'll go a bit more casual. So now that we know your favourite Firefly title, could you tell us your favourite title of all time?
Sorry.
Haven't played that one.
So my favourite title of all time. I grew up the Monkey Island games. That was sort of my first memory. Well, because as a kid we didn't have a SNES or a Mega Drive. We had an Amiga, which is like...
I'll have to Google that.
Yeah, it was what the parents bought. They were like, well, we need it to be educational. So it was technically a computer. Like it had a keyboard and stuff. But you could get games on it.
Okay, cool.
So Monkey Island on that. Monkey Island 2 came with 11 floppy disks. 11. So you'd switch to a different bit of the map.
People complain about having 2 discs on a PS4 game now. Wow. Yeah.
I know I had Street Fighter 2 on the Amiga, which was like bargain basement Street Fighter 2, because the Amiga only had one button, so you didn't even have punch or kick. It depended on which direction you used the joystick. But you'd have this meta game where, because I had I think 4 discs, and we had a separate drive, so you could put 2 discs in at once. And every time you load up a fight, it'd be like insert disc 3 now. But every now and then you'd get just the right combination of characters and stage where you would need to swap any of the discs. That was
the golden, the high point of your childhood.
This was my childhood.
What would be your highest hours played in any game?
I think it's still Team Fortress 2. I think it still beats out Overwatch by quite a bit.
I feel we've said this many a time, but if you did not know, Firefly used to have a very dedicated Team Fortress 2, rivalry go? Although it was mixed teams often, wasn't it? So
we'd have our own private server.
Yeah, this was before my time, so I'm not clear on the details.
We'd have our own private server, and there was enough of us that played it that we'd have our own internal matches, and between the hours of 2 and 3 a good half of the office would be somewhat livid with the other half of the office. It was good.
It's always it's one thing getting killed online by a stranger, but when the motherfucker who's like got a spy
and then you have to go and talk to him about work, and he's like, you might be right about this, but I want to punch you in the face.
Okay, so
nobody punched me in the face, though. Just to be clear. Again, no legal troubles here. It was all good fun. Bants, as they say.
So unfortunately, I have failed again. I'm not the best Stronghold Lord, I'm afraid. Both Edinburgh and Leeds have fallen upon my command. So I thought we could leave on a high note though, and if you could let the Stronghold community know what you're working on, any exciting projects when you go back upstairs.
Sorry, I was distracted. I was trying to think of some sort of King in the North reference for you letting the North get obliterated. But yes, I'll be going back upstairs to work on Stronghold Next. Get it ready for the reveal.
Absolutely, which of course, Matt, is coming out next month. But if you do want to see that, we said it earlier in the video, but it's worth repeating. Make sure you're subscribed to here. Make sure you've got the what on that?
Turn the bell on.
There you go. Turn the bell on to get a push notification direct to your YouTube inbox and your desktop, whatever you've got set up, because that will be coming during E3 next month, which I believe starts on the 11th. That aside, I want to thank you so much for joining me, Matt. I think I've never shaken someone's hand after a Stronghold and Chill. I usually just make my hand go limp whenever someone comes
Oh
in.
yeah, that was weird. No, that stopped that pretty quickly.
So with all that said, if you want to stay up to date on all our projects from Stronghold Next to Roman's Age of Caesar, Stronghold Kingdoms, you'll want to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next week for another Firefly Studios video.